Welcome back to Health Matters. Now, here's an interesting quote from the World Health Organization. By 2050, the world's population of people aged 60 years and older will double, 2.1 billion. The number of persons aged 80 years and older are expected to triple between 2020 and 2050 to reach 426 million. On our podcast today, folks, he's back, the incredible Dr. Ade Wentzel, who will be discussing the benefits of NAD plus supplements and its impact on healthy aging, of course. Dr. Wentzel, welcome back to Health Matters. It's lovely to have you back with us again. How do we as a population start to prepare now to ensure we are healthier in our older years?
Well, I think that's the holy grail of questions that you've asked there. I think it's I think it's not a question that can be answered quickly. I think that's the first thing, and it's quite complicated, and it encompasses the full span of what life really is. I think it was quite an interesting quote that you gave us from the World Health Organization. It said that lifespan would increase. Didn't really give us any reflection of health span, the ability to stay well for those length of period that we're actually surviving. And for me, that's like the most important thing. It's pointless having lifespan and longevity, but having lots of ailments. So I'm a guy that likes the health span type of a scenario, and that's I think it encompasses like all of our dimensions, sort of our mind, the body, our lifestyle, and really a lifestyle of moderation. If I ask my old patients, then basically what they tell us is that everything is in moderation. Moderation in alcohol, moderation in sport, moderation in everything, and really a healthy mind, keeping active and doing active things. Really, from a biochemical point of view, it's a little bit more complicated. As we get older, we know that NAD is declining, and we saw that puts us at risk. If we saw the COVID epidemic, we know that old people struggled more, mainly probably we think it's because their NAD was lower and their response wasn't appropriate as such. And with age, we know that the NAD goes down. And that's probably related to us consuming more. We've got more DNA that needs to be repaired as such. And we've got a whole bunch of processes. We also, as we get older, our diet becomes poorer on the whole. So diet is a main thing. If our diets are good, we always talk in the elderly of the tea and toast diet, and that's sort of a nutritional supplement deficient diet, which is something we've really have to worry about. So I think the most important thing is, what is NAD really? Nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. Well, it's really a cofactor. It comes mainly from the diet. It also it can be recycled in the body. And the diet comes as nicotinic acid. It can also be made from tryptophan on a small amount in cases where we are deficient, and that can lead to its own problems. It's basically present in every cell of the body, and it is absolutely important for cell metabolism and energy creation. That energy creation is the fundamental of basically mobility, movement, brain function, and so forth. And I think it's also important to note that it's also a cofactor in numerous enzymatic reactions. So it's not just the energy production, but it's also important for other things. The one that after we've been celebrating is probably important is it's important for alcohol metabolism. So you need to have good NAD for alcohol metabolism because it's one of the cofactors of the enzymes involved. So not only just with age, we know that this cofactor with stress, viral infection, comorbidities like diabetes, hypertension, obesity, they can all impact on causing low NAD. Now, the debate about whether you aren't more prone to these things because you have low NAD in this as a start is probably the chicken and the egg philosophy. What comes first? If you have low NAD, you're going to be prone to diseases that are really causing problems like blood pressure and so forth. And then what happens is once you've got those comorbidities, then they decrease NAD as well. So it's kind of how do we manage it? So the mind, body, lifestyle, and diet type of a scenario, it's really all encompassing. What can we do? Because, I mean, how can we manage it? Well, we can supplement with it, and we need to be getting to people always talk about NAD boosting. I would say just normalization of NAD. We want enough, the correct amount, so that our bodies behave normally. We have normal immune response, normal inflammation, muscle strength, and so forth. So what we can do is we can basically supplement, and there's numerous supplements. The one that we like and we think is probably more appropriate is nicotinic acid, but you can use nicotinamide riboside, nicotinic mononucleotide. I think they all will bring up, and they've known to normalize NAD as such.
Doc, I think, there's also, if I can just bring up, and we alluded to this a little bit, the preclinical research that suggests that supplementation with NAD plus precursors could be an effective intervention for things such as dementia, et cetera, et cetera. That's obviously something that one has to consider as well.
Yes, well, we know that NAD is super important for memory, the energy metabolism, super important for a whole bunch of things. And really, supplementation is probably the one thing that we can normalize, that allows us to basically be in a position to age more appropriately as such.
Also, I mean, vascular health's also a big issue going forward. I mean, it's one of those things that you kind of hope that everything's going to be okay one day. But throughout the course of especially those slightly younger years, you want to know that you're doing the best you can to make sure that those older years aren't spent in the heart or the cardiac wing of hospitals.
Well, I think if you look at mortality, there are two things probably a few things that cause us to have a poor outcome and a decreased health span, and probably one of them is cardiovascular disease. The other is neurovascular disease.
Got you.
And both of them, one is causing heart attacks, and the other causing stroke. And our feeling is that when we look at the literature, it definitely improves the fact that cardiovascular health as well as neurovascular health and the outcomes associated are improved if one has sufficient NAD plus to maintain a good function.
And of course, that also, just in parting shot, also pertains to muscle health as well. I mean, the one thing, and it's quite amazing. You speak about cardiac health. If you ever go along and have a look at one of those sonars, one of those look at the function of the heart, it's quite a scary thing to have a look at. When your doctor starts telling you, hey, hang on a second, this muscle isn't what it was 10, 20 years ago.
Well, it's quite interesting. When you're looking at muscle strength, you're looking at cardiac strength.
Yes.
That's a cardiac failure is a very important thing. Congestive cardiac failure, the weakness of the myocardial muscle and how it functions. And we know that it is absolutely NAD dependent. It's highly oxygen dependent, and with oxygen and carbohydrates and metabolism, one needs to have NAD as the cofactor, and that has been shown. But not only that, I think the other thing that is very important is skeletal muscular strength.
Yes.
Skeletal muscular strength, we know that with age it declines. We feel that probably large proportion of this is related to the sedentary lifestyle, not exercising, to the mitochondria, but we also the mitochondria decline. But we also know that that one needs NAD to make sure that mitochondria is functioning appropriately. And mitochondrial myopathy is a real is absolutely a real entity as such. And you probably find that this plays a large role on the background of a poor diet. Now, if one looks at mortality, there's two things that I'm always interested in. The first one is that fall risk is related to muscle strength, and muscle strength is related to mortality. So if your muscles are strong, your fall risk declines, and therefore your mortality declines. So that's the one factor, the fall risk. The other factor is not only the fall risk, but we know that with a strong muscle that there's an impact on the brain function as well. And that if we have strong skeletal muscle, and often the brain function seems to be better over time. So staying in track and reducing cognitive decline seems to be in some ways related to muscle mass as well. So that's very important. Just going back to the brain.
Yes.
We need to remember that we have to exercise our memory. We have to do, just like we're exercising muscles, we've got to do our Sudoku, do our puzzles and our crosswords and things like that, because brain function is an important thing. And related to that would be mood as well. We have to have the life well as well. So we have to keep ourselves occupied. We also have to have, so our soul needs to be managed as well, which it's a difficult scenario, but purpose of life is something that we find increases lifespan as well as health span, and I think that's pretty important.
What I love, Doc, and we'll end with this, is the fact that we're so prepared to put money aside every month for one day when we get to a certain age where we can sit back and enjoy that money, because that money, we've been taught from a young age, needs to be put away every month. But are we willing enough to invest in ourselves as much so that one day we can enjoy life and enjoy it with our kids growing up and our grandkids? We should be investing right now in ourselves, just like we are financially.
I think that's the financial investment and health investment are exactly the same. I think one has to make sure one occupies one's mind, that one works on one's body, that one has a nice balanced lifestyle with minimization of stress. You eat well, nothing in excess. It doesn't have to be a paleo diet or a vegan diet, whatever. It just needs to be low to moderate calories, and a good variety of non-processed foods. And then from an advice point of view, I think you got to start early. I think, when I had my 50th, my piece of advice to my mates was start early with sunscreen. And it kind of goes back to the Baz Luhrmann song.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember that. It says, everybody's free to wear sunscreen. And he gives a whole bunch of life advices, which I think, if you look at them in context with managing your NAD, supplementing, managing your diet, and managing your muscle health and your brain health, then I think then you have a good health span. And I ask every person that's over 80 the same question: why are you well and over 80? Because I'm only really interested in the well ones, because most of the ones that aren't well don't get to 80. And there are a few things that come across. One is that they generally are lean and fit. And there's no triathletes or superhuman people. That it's a person that walks their dog for 30 minutes a day, has purpose in life. So they often have some kind of a social function. And then moderation of alcohol, and generally they don't smoke at all. And there's nothing sinister or fancy about it. It's just a good lifestyle. such, keeping fit.
I love that. Doc, again, time flies when you're having fun and saying, some and adding value to it. Incredible time again. Thanks for yours today and for that insightful chat. And if you are watching this for the first time, join the conversation. Please like, subscribe, be a part of Health Matters, and go and have a look. Dr. Ade Wentzel and I have numerous other podcasts that are out there at the moment, and they really add value to the subject that is Health Matters. Doc, thanks for your time. We'll chat again soon. Take care.